Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Cookie Robinson back at you. Today I'm riding my V11. It's slightly overcast. I'm not sure if it's going to rain. I got to check the weather. But got up this morning contemplating if I'm going to ride my Sherman or I'm going to ride my V11. I haven't rode my V11 on the local streets. Normally I go to the parks and, riding off-road a little bit. But not today. Today I decided let me go for a quick ride around town. Enjoy the suspension. Because I'm still debating which wheel I'm going to get. I think I made up my mind already, as a matter of fact. The wheel I'm going to get is going to be the Sherman S. I was completely convinced I was going to get the V13 until recently I met up with EUCs. Came by my house. And I got on that V13. And that is a massive wheel. I got on that thing, and let me tell you, man, that is a big wheel. That's simply a commuter wheel for range. I don't know if it's good for range. For a guy like me that just cruises, it's perfect. But it's just a heavy wheel. It's just too big of a big wheel to pick up, put in the car and stuff like that. The Sherman ain't no other piece of cake either. It's what, 100 pounds? But it's got good suspension as well. But I kind of like that Leaperkin model a lot better, smaller. It's got good range as well. It's got better range actually than the V13. But I made up my mind. It's official. But I'm still going to keep my V11. It's funny because we all hear the videos on YouTube about we want the 120, 34 volt wheels. Why not to make them bigger? The Sherman is a 100 volt. I'm old school. Listen, I've been doing this just slightly over 3 years. I'm still riding my V11 3 years later. It's an 84 volt. It still rides just as good as it was 3 years ago. And I love it. I love the suspension on it. I'm the only one that rides it. It's just thing still looks new. It's got about 1,700 miles. And that's a little mileage for 3 years because, like I said, I rode 3 wheels. I also had a V10F when I first started. I rode that for about a couple thousand miles. Actually, about 1,800 miles to be exact. So, give me 1 second. So, make a long story short, I saw that recently because I just didn't use it. Obviously, it was just sitting there. And when you have need for speed, that thing when it goes 25 miles an hour is a good starter wheel, good commuter wheel, good hangout wheel. But the average wheel we hang out with guys are going over 30 miles an hour, 35, 40 miles an hour. And even with the V11 only goes technically 34 miles an hour, it's slow in comparison. But it's a good all-around wheel. It's not too heavy, 65 pounds, not too heavy, not too big. You can still pick it up and enjoy the ride. But one thing you gotta get used to about these suspension wheels is a step up, meaning to climb on it. It's not like the Sherman or the other wheels that have those low pedals. They have the low pedals. So that's something to consider when you're changing from one wheel to the other. Now, if you have experience riding, that's no problem. But if you're beginning to ride a wheel, there are those who are gonna continue to test their limits and buy the big wheels and they'll learn. Some learn quick, some learn slow, but you'll get it eventually. But I recommend starting on something smaller to get acclimated with it. Your stance, your speed, your curve, your turning, your braking, and all that stuff until you get into heavy wheel. You want to just invest in a big one right away, so be it. It's not wrong. It's just experience, advice, that's all it is. But there's nothing wrong with buying a heavy wheel to start off with. Looks like E-Wheels, where I normally buy all my wheels and my equipment from, are getting their stock here. I just looked at it last night and take it from there. I forget here, I keep bending up my knees because I think I'm riding my Sherman, and I forget this V11 takes a lot of the suspension. I forget about that. But something to get used to. So Man, it's windy out here today, big time. But it's been over, I'll say about over a month, just a little over a month that I haven't touched any of the wheels. Because life throws things at you that, life, work, family, kids, or grandkids, and for that matter. So, we're gonna try to go to a local park if I can. Nah, you know what? Let's go the other way. Whoa. So it's all good. It's all good.